welcome to this afternoon's class. For those of you who maybe don't know me, I'm Lauren and I've been taking some classes at the uni. Obviously at the moment can't be doing that, so hence we've gone on to video. So for those of you who do know me, maybe some of you have been coming and attending these classes every week and tuning in. That's great. I can see that lots of people have been keeping up with them, so amazing if you have, and I hope that you've been finding some benefit and some enjoyment from it. Perhaps this is your first time tuning in, and if that is the case, then welcome, and I hope that you can find some value from this and the sort of things that we've been working through. It's been a bit of a mixture, so every week doing something a little bit different, and this afternoon our focus is going to be a little bit of work around releasing some tension in the areas that we might find that we're holding it the most at the moment. So for lots of you, if you are still students, maybe coming up to some exams that might have gone on to virtual means, so you might still be studying, working on final projects, typing, and might be doing a lot of things that are involving you kind of sitting and slouching for long periods. So maybe you're not sort of getting up and moving around as much at the moment. If you're not commuting to and from uni, or you're not going to and from work, maybe you're finding that you're sitting a little bit more than you would like to be, and maybe finding that you're carrying some tension in the shoulders, in the face, in the neck, in the upper back. So what we're going to work on a little bit this afternoon is releasing some tension from those areas, releasing some of that stress where we might be holding it the most at the moment, and sort of finding the space in those areas, coming back down to our breath, finding some stillness, and hopefully feeling a little bit more relaxed at the end of it, our joints and our muscles feeling a bit more relaxed, and hopefully you can carry that through into those tasks and activities that you are continuing to do, where you might be finding that with a bit of help to support your posture and keeping everything nice and relaxed but upright and stable can help to prevent any sort of tension, injuries and stress that we might be feeling in the body at this time. So I'd like you to come down to a seated position, either with your legs crossed or taking your legs straight out in front of you if that's more comfortable, wherever's comfortable for you, and just taking the hands to rest gently down into the lap, and just taking a moment to close down the eyes if that's comfortable, or just keeping the gaze soft just towards the front of the mat, and just take a moment here to come into your breath. So beginning to observe the breath as you inhale and exhale, feeling the rise of the chest as you inhale and the fall as you exhale. Taking just a few moments here just to quieten down the mind, becoming aware of how the body might feel at the moment, noticing any areas that might feel like they're holding some tension, holding some stress. And as you exhale, just letting those fall away. Feeling the breath moving into the body through the nose, down the back of the throat, and all the way down into the lungs. Expanding the lungs, expanding that lower part of the belly as you fill the spaces up, and then exhaling, releasing, letting everything go, letting everything soften. let's take a few cleansing breaths here. So we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. 2 more, deep breath in. Exhale out. 1 more, deep breath in. Exhale out. Inhale, opening the eyes. Starting just taking some rolls of the neck to release some of that tension. So dropping the chin down towards the chest. Inhaling, taking the gaze over that right shoulder. Coming all the way up to the sky, and then exhaling over the left and back down. 2 more. Inhale, gazing up. Exhale, coming back down. 1 more. Inhale, gazing up. Exhale, releasing back down. Coming over the other direction now. Inhaling, gazing up over that left shoulder. Exhale, releasing down. Inhale, gazing up. Exhale, releasing down. 1 more. Inhale, raising the head up to the sky. Exhaling, coming down to the center. Taking the right hand now on top of the head, we're going to slide it down over that left ear, taking the left fingers out to the side of the body with the fingers just up off the ground. We're going to inhale as we elongate the spine, and then exhale, draw that left ear down towards the right, feeling that stretch as you stretch through the fingertips, opening the left side of the neck. As you exhale, reaching further down with that right hand, drawing the left side of the neck open. Inhaling, coming back to the center, swapping the hands, stretching through the right fingers. Inhaling, elongating the spine, and then exhaling, drawing that left side of the head down towards the shoulder, releasing the shoulders down away from the ears. Feeling that opening in the right side of the neck. Inhaling, coming back to the center. Let's stay sitting for a moment and just take a little bit of looseness in the shoulders. So we're going to inhale, we're going to raise the shoulders up to the sky, and exhale, release them down. 2 more. Inhale, raising up to the sky, squeezing the shoulders up to the ears, and then releasing. 1 more. Inhaling, scrunching the shoulders up to the ears, and then exhaling, releasing, giving the shoulders a good shake about. Coming now onto our hands and knees. We're going to take our child's pose first of all. So taking the knees to the width of the mat, the toes together, sitting back on the heels. We're going to walk the fingers forward, so staying right up onto our fingertips initially, gazing forwards, keeping the sit bones down on the heels if you can, and then inch the fingers forwards, inching them forward and gazing forwards, and then finally flattening the hands, keeping the wrists and elbows up off the ground. You're going to sink the hips back to the heels, and then dropping the head down to the ground. And breathing here, sinking the hips down to the heels, releasing the head, forehead down on the mat, keeping it an active pose, so inching the fingers forwards, keeping the hands nice and spread, really allowing the chest to fall down. If you're very far away from the ground, you can always take some support underneath the forehead. You can take a block or a bolster or a pillow or something underneath the head so that you can have that contact with the head on the ground. Allowing that contact between the head and something on the ground to allow the mind to just soften into the ground and feel it freeing up space inside. And then inhaling, drawing the knees back together, coming up onto our hands and knees. We're going to come now into our puppy dog stretch. So taking the hands further forward, we're going to keep the hips over the heels. We're going to start to drop. We're going to walk forwards with the hands. We're going to start to drop the chest down to the ground. So just playing around with where the hands want to be for the moment, so that the hips are staying over the knees, taking the chin down, taking the chest down, keeping the forearms down on the ground. It might be that the chin comes to the ground, it might be that the forehead comes to the ground, but what we're looking for here is an opening across the top of the back. So it's a nice start to opening along the shoulders, along the upper part of the back. And then inhaling, coming back to the centre, coming up onto all fours, and taking now a few rounds of our cat-cow sequence. So starting with wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to inhale, drop the tailbone, raise the head up, gazing up as we inhale, and exhaling, rounding through the spine, tucking the chin and gazing towards the navel. Inhaling, starting at the base, tucking the tailbone, raising the head up. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, tucking the chin in towards the chest. Inhaling, dipping the tailbone, raising the head up. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, following your own breath here, following your own pace. Do 2 more. Inhaling, dipping the tailbone, raising the head up. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, tucking the chin towards the chest. Last one. Inhaling, raising the head up. Exhaling, rounding the spine, tucking the chin down towards the chest. And then coming to a neutral tabletop position. We're going to tuck the toes, lift the hips, coming up into our downward facing dog. So it might be here your first downward dog of the day, so just taking your time here, maybe walking the feet, slowly dropping each heel down to the ground, stretching down the backs of the legs, keeping the chin tucked down to the chest, gazing towards the navel, and then finding stillness here. So spreading through the hands, drawing the shoulders down away from the ears, tucking the chin down, gazing towards the navel, drawing the kneecaps up towards the thighs, and allowing the breath to be nice and long here. Good, and then slowly walking the feet up towards the hands, coming to rest in our forward fold. So maybe keeping a slight bend to the knees here, maybe holding on to opposite elbows, maybe taking the feet slightly apart, whatever's working for you here. Maybe just rocking slightly from side to side, just softening in the back here, allowing the head to hang heavy, and then slowly releasing the hands, releasing the elbows, slowly rolling up vertebra by vertebra all the way to standing, to come to Tadasana at the front of your mat, drawing the feet together, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, tucking the tailbone down, drawing the kneecaps up towards the thighs, standing strong in Tadasana, mountain pose. From here we're just going to release through the shoulders a little bit more. So taking the feet now slightly apart, we're going to take our hands onto our shoulders. We're just going to start by rotating the shoulders, so inhaling, raising the shoulders up so the elbows touch in the middle, and then exhaling, coming back down. So following your own breath, we'll take 5 forward rotations, keeping the legs strong and tailbone pulling down, Really just slowly opening the shoulders, one more, and then coming the other way, inhaling, reaching the shoulders up and back, feeling that opening down the backs of the shoulders. Good. Releasing down and back behind the body. And take the hands out now to the side. I'm going to start just by taking small circles with the arms. So keeping the arms nice and strong if you can here. I'm going to start by taking small circles. Good. Making the circle slightly bigger now into a medium-sized circle. Just working into those shoulders. And now taking large circles, inhaling, coming up to the sky, and then exhaling as you come back down, feeling that opening in the shoulders, and then we're going to rotate, going the opposite way, starting with large circles, and then starting to make those circles smaller, to a medium-sized circle, and then making those circles really small. Good. And then dropping the hands back down. We're just going to take the feet a little bit wider still. We're going to take the shoulders up to our chest, and we're just going to release in the back, following the gaze to each side, allowing the hands to guide and the chest to follow, keeping the hips, if you can, in the center, just really rotating in the top part of the body. Do whatever feels right here, just to loosen up the body, and then resting back down, taking the weight into the left foot. We're just going to start to warm up the ankles. So we're going to take circles with the ankle in one direction, and then swap. And then we're going to bend at the knee of that right foot, and we're just going to take some rotations in that right shin, and then the other way. And then from here, we're going to come into the whole hip. So opening the hip to the side. You might feel some clicks as the hip opens up, and then coming the other way with the hip. And then coming back to standing, taking the weight into the right leg this time, taking the left out in front of you. Just going to take some rotations with that left ankle. And then the other way. Bending at the knee, taking some rotations with that left knee, and the other direction. And then with the whole hip, opening nice and slowly that hip out to the side, and then the other direction. Losing my balance. That's it. Okay. Coming back to the center. So, starting now with a few sun salutations just to warm up through the shoulders, warming up the body here. So, standing at the top of your mat, we're going to start in Tadasana, so bringing the hands to the side of the body, feet to touch, toes to touch, heels together or slightly apart, kneecaps drawing up to the thighs, rolling the shoulders down the back, gazing slightly forwards. We're going to inhale, take the arms up to the sky, exhale, folding forwards, coming down to our forward fold. So again, if it's too much, you can bend your knees here or hold on to the shins. We're going to inhale, look forward, fingertips on the ground or just resting on the shins. We're going to bend the knees, step the right foot back, step the left foot back, coming into our plank pose. So at any stage, if you need to drop down to the knees, that's absolutely fine. We're going to drop the knees, drop the chest, down between the hands, inhale, coming up to our cobra. So taking the weight out of the hands here, gazing up slightly, legs are zipped up together. We're going to plant the hands either side of the chest, tuck the elbows in, tuck the toes, sink the hips, back to the heels, and then lift up, coming up into our downward facing dog. So holding here for 1, 2, really rolling the shoulders away from the ears, dropping the chin down towards the chest. 3, 4, and 5. Bending the knees, stepping the left, stepping the right foot forwards. Fingertips on the ground, looking forwards. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, arms coming up above the head. Exhaling, hands coming down in front of the chest. Okay, inhaling, taking the arms up once more. Exhaling, whoop, folding forwards. Inhaling, fingertips on the ground, looking forwards with a flat back. Bending the knees, stepping the right, stepping the left foot back to plank. Dropping the knees, dropping the chest down to the ground. Inhaling, coming up into our cobra, so taking the weight out of the hands, gazing up. Planting the hands either side of the chest, tucking the toes, sinking the hips back to the heels through child's pose, and then coming up into our downward facing dog. So planting the hands, middle finger facing forward, thumbs facing in towards each other, rolling the shoulders away from the ears for 1, 2, kneecaps pulling up to the thighs, 3, 4, and 5. Bending the knees, stepping the left, stepping the right foot forwards, fingertips on the ground, looking forward, exhaling, folding forwards, inhaling, arms coming up above the head, exhaling, hands coming down in front of the chest, inhaling, arms coming up above the head, exhaling, folding forwards, inhaling, fingertips on the ground, looking forward from here, bending the knees, either stepping as before or planting the hands, jumping back to plank. Either dropping the knees, chest, chin as before, or bending the elbows and coming through Chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra as before, your choice. Tucking the toes, sinking back to downward facing dog. Remembering to come to the knees anytime you need. Holding here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bending the knees, either stepping or jumping up to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forwards. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, arms coming up above the head. Exhaling, hands in front of the chest. 4th round, inhaling, arms coming up. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, fingertips on the ground, looking forward, bending the knees, stepping or jumping back to plank. Dropping through knees, chest, chin or Chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog, holding here. Remembering to come down to your knees if you need to. For 1, 2, 3, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. 4 and 5. Bending the knees, stepping or jumping to the front of the mat, fingertips on the ground, looking forward, exhaling, folding forwards, inhaling, arms coming up above the head, exhaling, hands in front of the chest. Final round, inhaling, arms coming up, exhaling, folding forwards, inhaling, fingertips on the ground, looking forwards, exhaling, plant the hand, stepping or jumping back to plank, dropping through chaturanga on knees, chest, chin, inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra, exhaling, downward facing dog, holding here, coming to your knees if you need a rest. For 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Inhaling, looking forward, stepping or jumping to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forwards. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, arms coming up above the head. Exhaling, hands in front of the chest. Okay, this time we're going to come through chair. So bending the knees, inhaling, arms coming up, tucking the tailbone, gazing up towards the thumbs, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, feet and knees are together. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, fingertips on the ground, looking forwards. Exhaling, plant the hands, step or jump back to plank, dropping knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog, left toes turn in, right foot steps forward, arms coming up, warrior 1. So hips are facing the short edge of the mat, hands are together, gaze is up towards the thumbs. If it's too much on the shoulders, you can open the hands slightly here. Back leg is straight, knee coupling up towards the thighs. Exhaling, folding over that front leg, stepping back to plank, dropping knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog, other side, right toes turn in, left foot steps forward, arms coming up, warrior 1. Exhaling, hands framing that front foot, stepping back to plank, dropping through chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog, holding here. For 1, slowing the breath down. 2, 3, 4 and 5. Bending the knees, stepping or jumping to the front of the mat, fingertips on the ground, looking forwards. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, bending the knees, arms coming up through chair. Exhaling, hands in front of the chest. 2 more rounds. Inhaling, bending the knees, arms coming up through chair. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, fingertips on the ground, looking forwards. Exhaling, plant the hands, stepping or jumping back to plank, dropping through chaturanga on knees, chest, chin. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Left toes turn in, right foot steps forward, arms coming up, warrior 1. Exhaling, hands outside that front foot, stepping back to plank, dropping through chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Right toes turn in, left foot steps forward, Arms coming up, warrior one. Hands coming down outside that front foot. Stepping back, dropping through chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Holding here, slowing down the breath. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bending the knees, stepping or jumping to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, bending at the knees. Arms coming up through chair. Exhaling, hands in front of the chest. Okay, final round. Bending the knees, inhaling, arms coming up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhaling, plant the hands, stepping or jumping back to plank. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Left toes turn in. Right foot steps forward. Arms coming up, warrior one. Exhaling, hands coming down. Outside that front foot, stepping back to plank, dropping through chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Right toes turn in. Left foot steps forward. Arms coming up, warrior one. Exhaling, hands coming down. Outside that front foot, stepping back to plank, dropping through chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Your last 5 breaths here. Taking rest if you need to. Otherwise, we're holding here for 1, 2, drawing the kneecaps up towards the thighs, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. 3, 4, and 5. Bending the knees, stepping or jumping to the front of the mat. Fingertips on the ground, looking forward. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, bending the knees. Coming up through chair, tucking the tailbone. Exhaling, hands in front of the chest. Okay, hopefully feeling a little bit warmer. So, from here, let's step from the top of the mat. With the right foot, we're going to open out to the right. Turn on that left toe. Turning the right foot out to the front edge or the short edge of the mat. Feeling that opening down the back of that right leg. We're going to inhale, take the arms out to the side as we come into our triangle pose. So feeling the front body falling over that right leg and then dropping the right arm down to the ground. So either staying here or taking that left hand and going for a half bind. So taking the left hand, can you see? So taking the left hand down to the inside of that right thigh. So using that to open the shoulder, that left shoulder, as you then gaze up to the sky. Keeping both legs really strong. For 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Pivoting on the feet. Stay this way so you can see again. Reaching over that left arm, dropping the left hand down. Taking the right arm up and then taking that right hand down the back. Taking hold of that left inner thigh. Opening the shoulder. Taking the gaze up to the sky for 1, 2, keeping both legs really strong. 3, 4, and Inhaling, coming up, stepping off to the front. We're going to take a forward fold here, so taking a step again with that right foot, pivoting on the feet so that the feet are both facing the long edge of the mat. Pivoting on the feet so you're slightly pigeon-toed with the toes. We're going to take the arms out to the side, legs are strong, kneecaps pulling up to the thighs, tailbones tucking down. We're going to fold forwards, taking hold of either the big toes or resting the hands on the shins, drawing the front body down to the ground, taking the gaze down towards the navel, elongating the breath here, pulling the kneecaps up towards the thighs, keeping the elbows slightly bent. Good. And I'm going to take the hands, walk the hands round to that right ankle. I'm going to start to draw that left elbow down towards the ground. So keeping both legs really strong, feeling how this starts to open across the tops of the shoulders as you twist the body underneath that right armpit, gazing underneath that right armpit. Inhaling, coming back to the centre, walking the hands over to the left. Again, drawing the body down towards that left ankle, feeling the body opening along that right upper shoulder. Keeping both kneecaps really strong. Inhaling, coming back to the centre. I'm going to gaze forward slightly, coming up onto the fingertips. Inhaling, putting the hands on the hips, exhaling, and then inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. And you can take the hands out to the side again, interlacing the fingers behind the back, drawing the base of the hands towards each other, and then rolling the shoulders down the back, squeezing the hands together here. So we're really drawing the shoulder blades down the back. We're going to inhale, gazing up slightly, and then exhale. We're going to fold forward, taking the hands over the top of the head. So we're really opening down the back to the shoulders here. Keeping the legs nice and strong. Really feeling that squeeze along the top of the shoulders. Releasing the head, allowing the head just to hang heavy. And then inhaling, coming all the way up to standing, releasing the hands, placing them back on the hips, and then stepping the feet together. Coming now into our eagle pose. So taking the legs, the weight into the left leg, we're going to take the right toes and either link the right foot to the outside of the left ankle, or bending through that knee, linking the foot around the back of the calf. So we're going to take the hands out to the side, so the right leg is on top, so the right arm is going to swing underneath the left, taking hold of the hands if you can, or just crossing at the elbows, feeling the one-sided asymmetrical stretch across the shoulder blades here. So drawing the hands down and away from the face, sinking further into that left knee if you can, sitting down into it, feeling as you draw the elbows, draw the hands away from the face, feeling that opening across the back of the shoulders, finding that point of stillness, something that isn't moving, to focus the mind. Inhaling, coming back up, releasing the arms, releasing the legs. Taking the weight now into the right foot. Taking the left foot over the top, either resting to the outside of the ankle or looping the left foot around the calf. Taking the hands, left hand coming underneath the right, feeling the other side of the shoulders here, stretching open. Again, drawing the hands down, drawing the elbows down, sinking further into that standing foot, finding that stillness, finding that focus. Breathing here. Good. And releasing. Shaking everything out. I'm going to inhale. Draw the arms up to the sky. Exhaling. Folding forwards. Letting the head hang heavy. Letting the elbows just gently bend. Keeping the knees slightly bent, maybe just stretching out through either side of the backs of the legs. Folding forwards, letting everything just be soft. And I'm going to slowly roll up vertebra by vertebra, coming up to standing, taking the arms above the head. Exhaling, we're going to let everything go, letting the arms swing back behind us, letting the knees hang soft. Inhale, let's take that again. So arms above the head, and then exhale, swing, release. Inhale once more, this time as you release, let the breath out through the mouth, release. Inhaling, breathe in, exhale, release. Inhaling and exhale. Letting the head and the shoulders now hanging heavy, coming out vertebra by vertebra back to standing, drawing the feet together, taking the arms up as you inhale, exhaling, folding forwards, inhaling, fingertips on the ground, looking forward, planting the hands, bending the knees, stepping or jumping back to plank, dropping through chaturanga or knees, chest, chin, inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra, exhaling, downward facing dog. We're going to walk the feet up to the hands, and we're going to cross the knees and come to seated. So from here, we're going to take the right foot, we're going to come to our cow face pose. So taking the right foot to the outside of the left hip, taking the left foot over the top. So our knees are stacking roughly one on top of the other. So we're going to take our right hand up to the sky. We're going to bend our right hand down to rest on the middle of our shoulders. Our left hand is going to come out to the side, and our left hand is going to bend up towards our right, looking to join our hands if we can, keeping that top arm up, feeling again opening through the shoulders here, one-sided. If it feels uncomfortable, if it feels too much, you can just hold roughly onto the t-shirt if you can grab either side, top and bottom of the t-shirt, or you can just keep the hands behind the back, holding the hands both behind the back. So wherever you are, come to where's comfortable for you, and just release when you're ready. Taking the hands down either side of the hips, we're going to keep the feet where they are and transition onto the other side. So we're going to walk the hands round to the right. We're going to stand up on the feet, keep walking, and then sit back down, and you should end up roughly on the other side. So our right foot is now stacking on top of our left, and our feet are out to the sides. So taking the left arm this time up above the head, dropping the left hand down the middle of the back, taking the right hand up to meet the left, either holding on again to the t-shirt if that's more available to you, taking hold of the hands, or just linking the hands behind the back, feeling that top arm opening, feeling that bottom elbow drawing down. You can give your elbow a little bit of a help. You can always take the right hand to the left elbow, give a little bit of help to draw it down the back, or equally you can give the right hand a little bit of help in getting up the back, and hopefully that'll help you to get a little bit closer to finding the hands, to link them, opening that shoulder. Good. Releasing when you're ready. Okay, we're going to uncross the legs, coming into our Janu Shavasana. So taking the left leg out in front of you, right knee, right foot is going to place on the inside of that left thigh. We're going to inhale, elongate the spine, taking the arms up above the head, and then exhale. If you have a belt and you want to use it, you can loop the belt over that left foot. Otherwise, keeping the back nice and straight, gazing forwards, keeping the gaze over the toes, inhaling, elongating the spine, and exhaling, bending the elbows, folding forwards, feeling that release now as we come down to slow down our practice, letting it settle, letting the breath settle back down. Inhaling, coming back to the centre, taking it onto the other side, left foot into the right thigh, inhaling, elongating the spine, taking the arms up, exhaling, folding forwards, over that right foot, bending the elbows, folding forwards, letting everything go, keeping that right knee pulling up to the thigh, inhaling, coming back to centre, coming down now onto our back. So taking the knees, just rolling the knees into the chest, coming over side to side, coming now down to close our practice with a few final movements. So taking the feet down to the ground, we're going to come into our half bridge. So taking the feet down on the ground, taking the hands either side of the hips. We're going to inhale as we lift the hips up off the ground, tucking the chin in towards the chest, coming into a slight back bend here, holding for a few breaths, planting down through the feet, and then exhaling when you're ready, releasing vertebra by vertebra, never coming down, all in one go. Taking the hands up, taking the feet up to the sky, and then releasing back down. Options either to take that again, or if you feel comfortable there and want to come into full wheel, you can take the hands either side of the shoulders, turning the hands so that the fingers are facing down towards the hips and the heel of the hand is facing the head end of the mat. Planting the hands, planting the feet. I'm going to inhale, lift everything up, keeping the gaze down to the mat, keeping the shoulders nice and strong, keeping the legs nice and strong, holding here for 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Slowly, when you're ready, tucking the chin back down towards the chest, coming down vertebra by vertebra, taking the hands up, taking the feet up to the sky, and then releasing back down. We're going to come now into our counter Matsyasana fish pose. So taking the thumbs underneath the buttocks, taking the feet out long in front of you. We're going to straighten the legs, point the toes, inhale, raise the chest up, coming to rest down on the crown of our head, taking the gaze to the back of the room. Pressing through the forearms, through the elbows, and then releasing, lowering yourself back down, taking the knees back in towards the chest. Coming now into our happy baby. So taking the hands in between the feet, holding onto the outside blades of the feet. Just going to slowly, if you like to move slightly from side to side, it's okay, otherwise just finding stillness here. Drawing the knees down towards the hips. Keeping the head, keeping the back down on the ground. And then drawing the knees together back in towards the chest. Keeping hold of the right knee, taking the left foot out in front of you. We're going to come into our easy spinal twist. So taking the right arm out to the side. If you're short of space, you can bend the elbow to come up into a cactus arm. And taking the right knee over the left side of the body, taking the gaze over to the right, just keeping sure that that right shoulder is planted down on the ground. Coming here just for a couple of breaths. Inhaling, coming back to the center, squeezing that knee, then taking that leg out long in front of you, taking the left knee now in towards the elbow, taking the left knee with the right hand, taking the left hand out to the side, and taking the gaze over that left shoulder. Again, just making sure that left shoulder doesn't rise up. Feeling the spine and what's the word? Releasing here. That's the word I'm looking for. And coming back to the center, squeezing that knee in and taking that leg out long in front of you. Now here, just taking any final movements that you want to take, maybe tucking the pelvis, tucking the shoulders, taking the chin down to the chest as we get ready to come down into our Shavasana. So taking the feet slightly apart, turning the hands, they're curling slightly, fingers curling slightly into the palms, taking the chin down in towards the chest. And just coming to your stillness now for the final part of the class. So letting everything go. We'll stay here for a couple of minutes. If you feel you'd like to stay here longer, then just pause the video. Stay as long as you feel you'd like to, and then you can always come back in and join us when you're ready. So releasing everything here. Letting the breath settle down. Coming back to find its natural rhythm. fingers, wiggling the toes, bringing a bit of life back into the body. Maybe keeping the eyes closed, just rolling over onto your right side, taking a couple of breaths here. In your own time, finding your way back up to seated, keeping the eyes closed, hands just sitting in the lap. And when you're ready, drawing the hands together in front of the chest, rubbing the hands together to generate some heat, taking the hands over the eyes, feeling the darkness behind the hands, and opening the eyes behind the hands. Taking the hands back down to heart center. Namaste everybody, thank you. As always, if you've any feedback, comments, anything at all, then do send us a message. Otherwise, I hope to see some of you tuning in.